So it's really rough out there. I just recorded the most wonderful podcast for you guys. I took a really, really nice microdose and went in and spent some time in a Chinese bakery. And you might say, well, why did you go into a Chinese bakery? Why would you do that? And after you've microdosed it, my answer would be because I just felt like it for some reason. I don't know why, other than something told me to do that. However, the problem is that I recorded this beautiful 20+ minute podcast and gave all of my thoughts to you in real time, only to realize that the bakery was really loud behind me. The background noise was very loud, and my microphone was probably not the right kind to record in a noisy environment. It picked up all the noise, and I could let you hear it, but it would be so distracting and not easy to understand me. I said, I'm not going to put you through that. So what I want to try to do here is just share a few things that took place in this bakery during my microdosing session. And it was really a very interesting session. So I got in there first and I ordered a, if you're on YouTube watching me, I ordered this cold oolong tea. Now, and it was really delicious. But you might say, well, Dave, I've heard, you've said that you don't eat that kind of stuff anymore. You don't eat carbs, you don't eat like sugary stuff. And that's exactly right. I didn't order anything else in the bakery other than a chocolate croissant for my wife, which she requested, but I don't eat that stuff anymore. It's to me, it's highly processed, not good for you in any way, but I still like the bakery. And also, my wife knows what she likes to eat and what she doesn't eat, and who am I to tell her? She's her own person, and I'm not gonna tell her what to eat. She's pretty darn healthy, and I'm not going to. It's not my job to tell her what to eat and what not to eat. So I got it for her, and she did enjoy it. She loved it. So that's a win-win. So I got into the bakery, sat down at this table. I've got my journal here. My new fountain pen, which I absolutely love writing with, and I let the session guide me to where I want it to be. Now, a lot of times I say, well, you should always have some type of intention. You should always go into some type of a session with intention. What do you want to accomplish? And I'm talking about either for a micro or for a macro. What is it that you want to accomplish? Why are you doing it? What's the reason you're doing this today? And my reason today was I just want to see where it takes me. And I'm gonna let the medicine decide like what I'm supposed to be doing, what I'm supposed to be thinking, how deep I go, what I come up with, what thoughts, things like that. So I didn't really go in with any type of true intention. The first thing I noticed as I was sitting there recording the podcast and writing in my journal, and also drinking my oolong tea, the first thing I noticed was like a large group of, how can I say this in the nicest, most politically correct way? And I don't really try necessarily to be politically correct. I pretty much say what's on my mind because, when we filter too much, I don't think that's a good thing either. Like, say what's on your mind. And I'll tell you something else. If it offends somebody, so be it. I think it's on them. If you say something from your heart and you don't mean anything bad by it, but it offends somebody else, I think that's on them. But anyway, I still want to say the right thing. So there was a large group of, I'd say, mentally challenged adults that came in and took up maybe 2 or 3 tables. And they varied in age range, but probably in the 20 to 40 type age range. I don't have any idea where they were from, why they came there. They just kind of sat there, and they weren't really eating or drinking anything. They just kind of sat at tables, and that's fine. But I started thinking, like, I feel really fortunate and really blessed for my health and my life and what I can accomplish in my life. And then I thought, well, that's really, even though I feel fortunate, that's really not totally fair, because in saying that, I'm kind of implying that I'm better than they are, than these mentally challenged people. And I want to make this very clear. In no way, absolutely do I think that I'm in any way better than anybody, and including a group of mentally challenged people. Who's to say I'm better? I don't think I am. But I started wondering, like, what are they thinking on a daily basis? What do they go through? I mean, they're probably not worried about the economy or the stock market or politics, or they probably have a very simple way of life. I'm guessing. I don't know this because I'm not a therapist that deals with mentally challenged, and so I don't really know for sure. And I've never really had a mentally challenged person in my family, so I don't really know. But they have their own thoughts, I'm sure. And I have a feeling by the looks on their faces, they were probably pretty happy thoughts. Maybe happier than some of our thoughts, because maybe they don't consume enough of the surroundings, like the news and all the craziness that's going on in the world. Maybe they're not consuming a lot of that stuff. So they just have, ordinary, regular thoughts. And maybe that's a really good thing. I don't know. I can't say yes or no because I'm not really sure. But it was very interesting how I didn't really have an agenda. I was ready to let the medicine take me where it took me, and then this group walked in, and one of the men, actually before I started recording, he came over to my table and he said hello, and I said hi, how are you? And he said good, and he just said, I hope you have a really nice day. And I said, that's really kind of you, and I hope you do as well. And that little short back and forth conversation with him, it's hard to explain how much that meant to me. He would come over to my table. There were other tables there too. He would come over to my table and tell me that he hopes I have a good day. And it's very interesting because I was coming off actually of a very rough weekend, and that comment from him it meant a lot. Yeah, I've been dealing with some plantar fasciitis. It's very, very painful in my right foot, very painful. And I also got a Shingrix vaccine on Friday. Today is Monday as I'm recording this, so 3 days ago, and it like wiped me out over the whole weekend. It was. I mean, I didn't really get sick. I didn't have a fever or nothing like that, but I just felt like I was wiped out. I didn't sleep well one of the nights. It was just rough. So the fact that this challenged person came over to me and told me that he hopes I have a good day, it meant the world to me. It really did. And I hope when I said it back to him, I hope it meant something to him as well. I talk a lot about the happiness factor and the happiness, like where you are on the happiness scale, 0 to 10. And I will say that I honestly feel that I'm about as close to a 10 as anybody can be, a 10 or as close to a 10 as anybody can be. But I want to make this very clear. That doesn't mean that every day is like a perfect happy day. Happiness and maybe dealing with struggles are two different things. I am inherently very happy, and I thank this wonderful plant medicine that has helped get me there. But the struggles sometimes are real. The pain I'm dealing with, all types of things. I mean, the other morning I woke up and I felt out of sorts. Now, again, that doesn't mean I'm not happy, but I felt out of sorts when I woke up in the morning, and I'm not really sure what it was from. And by out of sorts, I mean, I just felt like there was a little bit of, I don't know, anxiety. I don't know if that's the right word, but I just didn't feel the way I thought I should feel. Nothing alarming, nothing dangerous, nothing really bad, but I just felt like a little bit out of sorts. That's the best way I can describe it. So I went ahead and I did a little microdose, and I'd say within an hour or two, I felt a lot better. So I was thinking about a lot of this when I was in the Chinese bakery today. recording the podcast episode for you, which didn't turn out. And trust me, I went home to my home studio and I uploaded to my MacBook and I put it through every audio enhancing program and enhancement that I could do to try to make that work. But in the end, the quality sucked, and I didn't want to put you through that. It would have been horrible. Many of you would have just turned it off after a few minutes, say, I can't listen to this, it's garbage. And it was. Unfortunately, the audio quality was garbage. The message was stellar. It was great because I was in a wonderful microdosing session. And I was pretty deep. And the people around me were wonderful. I don't pay a lot of attention to them, but I could feel a lot of positive energy around me. And yes, the mentally challenged people gave me a lot of positive energy. They were enjoying themselves. I don't know what they do on a daily basis. Like the other days, I don't know what they do. But it seemed to me like they were enjoying their lives, having a great time there. Some were talking, some were sitting at a table by themselves, but they were pretty much doing what they wanted to do. And here's another thing I was thinking during the session. I get a lot of messages, either by, messenger, text message, email, almost every day. And when I get a message from somebody, as I did earlier today, that told me that, like, I've basically changed their life, it's hard to put into words how much that means to me. It's really difficult because I started out on this journey trying to change my life. And it's not that I didn't care about anybody else's life. That's not true. But I was on this journey because my life, it wasn't working out right. It was going in the wrong direction for me, and I was dealing with some struggles, and I wanted to help my own life. But when I realized that this medicine helped me in a way that I never, ever believed in a million years it could, then my mission was to help other people. And apparently it's worked, because I get mail every day that you wouldn't believe, and it makes me feel so good. I mean, it's worth more than millions of dollars, trust me, because as good as millions of dollars could be to touch, to feel, to spend, to save, to invest, as good as that can feel, this is better. Another human being, a human being that I previously didn't know, taking their time to send me a letter to say, David, you've changed my life. How can that not be the most valuable thing on this planet for me? How could that not be? And multiply that times a lot, because I get it all the time. So these are some of the thoughts I had when I was microdosing in the bakery, in the Chinese bakery today. And I really wish, if you're watching this on YouTube again, if I can throw some B-roll in here and just share with you, even just what it looks like in there. What it looked like, and I think that would at least help me a little bit feel better that that whole recording in the Chinese bakery wasn't for nothing. So I'm going to try to include a little bit of B-roll. If you're not sure what B-roll means, it just means like background, kind of like background video that I'm going to show you like as I'm speaking. So I hope that helps a little bit. If you're listening to this audio-wise, it won't know the difference anyway, so it's okay. Just listen to my voice, and hopefully that would be totally fine. I'm really appreciative for everything. I'm appreciative for kindness out there. And there's a lot of it. There's so much kindness. I'm just really appreciative. And I think these days, the energy, maybe my energy, maybe other people's kind energy, we attract each other. It wasn't always like that. Oh my God, I've attracted some whack jobs, wackadoodles in my life. I've attracted some major wackadoodles. And maybe these days, maybe what it is, I'm just more in tune to filtering them out. When one tries to get into my life, I'm better at just filtering them out. Maybe that's what it is. The mushrooms have helped me with so much of that. Anyway, the session lasted in the Chinese bakery. I was probably there for close to an hour, which is fine. And then I packed up my stuff and got in my car and left. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful session that I was able to do. Now you might say, well, David, why were you spending your time at a Chinese bakery that was loud and not peaceful, and you could have been out in nature somewhere, you could have been in a quiet environment doing the same thing? And my answer would be, I don't know, other than the fact that something told me to go there. I'm not sure what it was, but something told me to go there. And if I hadn't have gone there, I would not have met that really nice gentleman, disabled gentleman that came to my table and told me to please have a wonderful day. I would not have met him. I'll leave you with that. Do me a favor. In the comments section, tell me where you like to go during a dosing session to be with yourself and to journal. Where's your favorite place to go? I'd love to know. And I've got a really important announcement on Friday's episode. It's going to be a shorter episode, but it's a very important announcement. I really want you to listen to it. And I want to share with you, this is very important. I do love you. I feel our connection. I really do. And a very short time ago, I did an episode on how I ate mushrooms and I went to get my car serviced. I think you're going to enjoy that one. It's right there.